Tempest Rising. Let me kick things off with the brand new Tempest Rising, a classic real-time strategy game that dropped this April. This one's a love letter to the iconic RTS games of the 2000s, but with a modern twist, and it's built on Unreal Engine 5, so it's easy on the eyes. The story's set in an alternate 1997, where a nuclear war sparked by the Cuban crisis has left the world scrambling to control a mysterious energy source called Tempest Vines. You've got two factions, the GDF, Global Defense Force, and the Tempest Dynasty, each with totally unique playstyles. There are single-player campaigns for both, plus a skirmish mode for hardcore players. What stands out? First, the factions are super asymmetrical. The GDF leans on speed, scouting, and high-tech units, while the Tempest Dynasty goes all in on brute force. They can supercharge buildings and recycle energy to speed up production. The economy's got quirks too. Instead of instantly spending resources, they drain slowly during production, so you've got to budget carefully. There's also a doctrine system, think tech trees, to customize how each faction plays, and Tempest fields regenerate over time, letting you harvest them in stages. Bottom line. This game demands focus, which is exactly what you want from a strategy title. Age of Mythology Retold. Next up, a fresh coat of paint on an old favorite, Age of Mythology Retold, a remaster of the 2002 cult classic RTS. This one throws you into a mythological era where gods, heroes, and monsters clash against ancient civilizations. You pick from 4 cultures: Greeks, Egyptians, Norse, or Atlanteans. Each plays wildly different. For example, Norse peasants can double as decent fighters, while other factions keep their workers strictly civilian. The big hook here? Divine powers, game-changing abilities like meteor showers or reviving dead units, tied to the god you worship. Economies and militaries vary hard too. Greeks rely on classic units and heroes, Egyptians spam massive armies and build giant monuments. Myth units, think minotaurs or sphinxes, add fantasy flair but require a special resource called Favor of the Gods. The remaster polishes everything: better unit controls, auto-build shortcuts, overhauled visuals, and quality-of-life tweaks across the board. It's the same legendary game, just smoother, prettier, and way more fun to lose hours to. Manor Lords. Let's talk about Manor Lords, a game that's finally worth diving into after a year of updates. It's a real-time strategy hybrid with heavy city-building elements, set in 10th century medieval Europe. You play as a feudal lord managing a settlement and leading armies. The visuals are stunning, but the real star is the organic town growth. Buildings are placed freely, and their layout directly impacts your settlement's efficiency, like placing warehouses near markets to speed up trade. The economy runs on realistic production chains, from raw resources to finished goods like weapons or clothing. Combat focuses on tactical battles where you command squads, with morale, fatigue, and terrain playing huge roles. There's also a politics system, set taxes and laws to keep your people loyal. Seasonal changes and weather keep you on your toes, like scrambling to stockpile food before winter hits. Similar mechanics pop up in Northgard. We'll chat about that one later. Age of Empires IV, Anniversary Edition. Next, the legendary Age of Empires IV. This RTS throws you into the medieval era, letting you command civilizations like England, China, or the Holy Roman Empire across historically accurate campaigns. The Anniversary Edition, released in 2022, added updates, new civs like the Ottomans and Malians, extra maps, and better balance. What's great here? The civs feel distinct. Each civilization has unique perks, tech trees, and playstyles. For example, the Mongols rely on fast cavalry raids, while the Chinese dominate with gunpowder and economic buffs. The age-up mechanic lets you pick unique buildings to advance eras, shaping your strategy. Fortifications, walls, siege engines, towers, make defense and sieges feel epic. I'm the type who spams walls in every RTS, no shame. Classic Age of Empires vibes, but polished with modern visuals and quality-of-life tweaks. They are billions. This is a survival real-time strategy defense game set in a post-apocalyptic world where humanity fights zombie hordes. You build and defend colonies while managing your economy, army, and fortifications. It features a full-story campaign with scripted missions, plus a survival mode with procedurally generated maps. Fair warning, the difficulty is brutal. One mistake can destroy everything you've built. The game's title highlights its core mechanic: massive zombie attacks. We're talking literal millions of undead, with thousands swarming your base simultaneously. Base fortification isn't optional, it's essential. Resource management is tense too, with limited supplies and territory forcing constant trade-offs between expansion and defense. Thankfully, there's active pause, letting you stop time to plan during critical moments, and trust me, you'll need it. The tech tree provides meaningful upgrades, but my favorite mechanic is infection. A single breached wall or infected unit can trigger chain reactions that wipe out your entire colony. Brutal, but brilliantly designed. Northgard. This is my absolute favorite. I've sunk about 100 hours into Northgard. What's amazing? It launched in 2018 and still gets regular updates with new clans, factions. You lead Viking clans settling an uncharted continent inspired by Norse mythology, battling for resources, territory, and survival. Northgard blends classic real-time strategy, base building and combat, with deep economic management and survival elements. Seasonal changes actually matter. Winter slashes food and wood production, forcing you to stockpile. Run out of food? That's instant game over for your entire clan. No second chances. Each clan plays totally differently. The Wolf clan focuses on military aggression, while the Goat clan excels at farming and resilience. You also manage happiness. Neglect your clan's morale and production plummets while villagers abandon you. Victory isn't just about conquest, though that works. You can win through trade, knowledge, or earning divine blessings. The map's divided into territories you colonize using resources. Each zone holds threats like wolves or draugr. Unlock unique clan upgrades through a tech tree. Honestly, it's one of the most polished and energizing strategy games out there. Warcraft III, Reforged. Okay, so Warcraft 3 used to be the top dog in the RTS scene. Kinda dethroned itself, you know. Happens sometimes. This is the remake from 2020 that they've actually improved a bit since launch. Reforged basically updates the graphics, the UI, and adds support for modern resolutions. It keeps that legendary campaign, the multiplayer, and the map editor that basically invented the whole MOBA genre. You're still commanding heroes and armies, building up your base, and getting into epic battles. Yeah, it got slammed for technical problems when it first came out, hard. But the core game? Still a classic real-time strategy masterpiece. Deep story, super memorable characters, and honestly, the community is still super active, especially because of all those custom maps people make. Criticizing the actual story or gameplay here feels kinda like a sin. Oh, and those technical issues? Mostly fixed now. So if you want to dive back into this legend without your eyes bleeding from the blocky 2002 graphics, it's definitely playable. Stronghold, Definitive Edition. This is the original Stronghold, well, the upgraded version of the classic 2001 castle building sim and real-time strategy game. Came out November 2023. It throws you into medieval England where you're building castles, managing your economy, and waging war against other ambitious lords. Besides everything from 2001, they added a whole new campaign, the Jewel in the Crown. And obviously, all the original stuff is still there. If you somehow missed this legend, let me break it down. What makes it stand out? Its super detailed castle building system. You get to design walls, towers, and traps yourself, piece by piece, figuring out the terrain and how much gold you've got to spend. The economy? It's deep. You gotta manage resources like wood, stone, and food through these production chains. And your people's happiness? That depends on taxes, food, and entertainment. Screw that up, and your workers get lazy. The combat is really satisfying too. You use catapults, battering rams, siege towers for attacking or defending, placing archers and pouring boiling oil. Oh, and the popularity mechanic is unique. It's all about balancing high taxes with keeping your people happy using things like feasts and gardens. Their loyalty affects everything. Bottom line. It's a stone-cold classic. No question. Starship Troopers, Terran Command. You know, if you want to blast tons of bugs, you don't only have Helldivers 2 or 1. There's also Starship Troopers, Terran Command, a real-time strategy game based on that cult classic sci-fi movie from '97. This game throws you right into humanity's war against hordes of alien arachnids. You take command of the mobile infantry, building bases, gathering resources, and leading infantry, vehicles, and air units through some seriously intense battles. The game offers a campaign story, scenario modes, and challenges, all focusing on tactical command. Get ready to manage small squads against absolutely overwhelming enemy numbers. I mean, they're bugs, you get it. It plays a bit different than your typical base-building real-time strategy, though. Instead of constantly constructing buildings and training units, you capture strategic outposts to call in reinforcements and unlock upgrades. This keeps things pretty dynamic. Every unit type, from basic riflemen up to powered armor suits, has unique abilities like grenades or missile strikes that need micromanagement to use effectively. Oh, and there's a big morale mechanic. Your troopers can totally freak out and bolt if they run into something really nasty, like a massive bug warrior. It's pretty legit. Age of Darkness, Final Stand. Alright, let's get into something pretty dark and intense, Age of Darkness, Final Stand. This is a real-time strategy game mixed with survival and tower defense elements. It spent a couple of years in early access before finally getting its full release in 2023. You're thrown into this dark fantasy world where humanity is fighting for survival against hordes of nightmare creatures spawned by this mysterious fog. Your job: build up your defenses, manage your economy, and command your army to survive these periodic waves called Death Knights. Basically, massive enemy assaults. The game mixes classic base building with a heavy focus on defense and survival. You've got a full single-player campaign, a survival mode, and co-op play. The real highlight, though, are those Death Knights. Every few in-game days, monster hordes attack your base with increasing strength. You have to be prepared, strong fortifications, a solid army, the works. There's this fog system blanketing the map. It severely limits your visibility and hides enemies, forcing you to use scouts and place torches strategically to uncover the map and see what's coming. Your economy relies on 3 key resources: wood, stone, and souls. Souls are especially interesting. You get them by killing enemies, and you use them to recruit powerful elite units. You also have hero units, kind of like champions. They have unique, powerful abilities and can be equipped with artifacts, adding some cool RPG elements to the mix. Building defenses is crucial: walls, towers, traps, letting you set up complex defensive lines. But you gotta balance that with building your army, right? Walls alone won't win the fight, someone's gotta do the fighting. There's also this cursed mechanic that randomly makes things harder. It might buff the enemies, limit your resources, or throw other nasty surprises your way. This really boosts the replay value. Plus, the co-op mode and procedurally generated maps can easily suck you in for hours. Cossacks III. Next up, some classic RTS action, Cossacks III. This is actually a faithful remake of the beloved 2001 strategy game, Cossacks, European Wars. It throws you right into the wars of Europe from the 16th to the 18th century. You pick one of 20 European nations, like Russia, France, or even the Ottoman Empire, and dive into massive, brutal battles. We're talking battles supporting up to 32,000 units on a single map. That's the core appeal, absolutely huge clashes. You get a full single-player campaign with historical scenarios, multiplayer, and even a map editor. While it keeps the original spirit, it modernizes the graphics and interface. The focus is firmly on those massive battles and managing a complex economy. If you never played the originals, the main draw here is the sheer scale of the fights. But to build those giant armies, you have to manage your economy carefully. There are 6 different resources to juggle. Crucially, mines deplete over time, just like in Warcraft III. This forces you to constantly expand your territory to grab new resource spots. Graphically, it won't blow you away by today's standards, it looks functional. But Cossacks was never about cutting-edge visuals. It was always about the epic scale and intensity of the combat. And in that department, Cossacks III delivers just as well as games like the Total War series. It's all about the massive, chaotic engagements. Diplomacy is not an option. Okay, let's talk about massive hack-and-slash battles. You'll definitely find them in Diplomacy is not an option. This is a real-time strategy game mixed with survival and tower defense. We play as a feudal lord in a fantasy medieval world. Our job? Build up our castle, manage the economy, and defend against endless waves of enemies. And I mean endless, we're talking peasant uprisings, bandits, and monsters. The game blends humor, chaotic gameplay, and strategic depth. It offers single-player missions, a survival mode, and co-op campaigns with non-linear quests. The visuals are stylized, and the narration has this sarcastic tone, creating a quirky but still tense vibe. The coolest part? Those endless waves. Enemies attack with increasing strength, forcing us to constantly optimize our defenses and economy. Base building lets us create complex fortifications with towers, walls, and traps. But space is limited, so we have to plan every placement carefully. The economy runs on 3 resources: wood, stone, and food. Food is critical, it keeps our army and population happy. If we run out, expect riots. Overall, it's a really well thought out and pretty interesting game. Iron Harvest. Iron Harvest is absolutely a top-tier game you shouldn't miss. It's set in an alternate reality 1920s, inspired by the diesel punk universe of artist Jakub Razalski. Imagine a world where World War I spawned giant mechs. 3 factions, Polania, Saxony, and Rusviet, are battling for control over Eastern Europe. Gameplay is classic real-time strategy, like Company of Heroes. We command infantry, regular vehicles, and those massive battle mechs. It's got solid modes, a single-player campaign with a unique story for each faction, multiplayer that's still active, and skirmish or co-op against bots if you want to fight with friends. The focus is on tactical control of mixed armies. Infantry, armor, and mechs all need to work together synergistically to advance. Capturing key points on the map, like supply depots or oil derricks, gives us resources for building units and upgrades. This shifts the focus to controlling territory, not just building a base. Each faction plays differently. Polania relies on mobile guerrilla tactics and snipers, Saxony uses heavy mechs, and Rusviet favors mass infantry and artillery. A unique hero system gives each faction charismatic leaders with special abilities, like calling in reinforcements or launching powerful attacks. Plus, the destructible environment is a big deal. We can smash buildings for cover or blast new paths, adding a ton of tactical depth. Godsworn. Now for something truly unique, Godsworn. This fantasy real-time strategy game takes inspiration from Warcraft III and Slavic mythology, throwing us into a world where gods and their followers battle for dominance during the Crusades era. We choose a faction that worships a specific deity and try to outmaneuver everyone else. The core feature is the divine powers system. Each god grants unique abilities, like summoning lightning or healing your entire army, that completely reshape your strategy. Demigod-like heroes are key units, they level up, gain new skills, and can equip powerful artifacts. Factions play very differently. Followers of Purin, for instance, use Slavic warriors and mythical creatures like Leshies, while the Holy Maidens faction relies on knights and angelic forces. Instead of traditional resources for powerful units and spells, there's a faith mechanic. You build faith by controlling temples and altars across the map, forcing you to expand. Standard resources like wood and gold are still there too, of course. Overall, it shows promise, but remember it's in early access right now, so it's still being polished and the content isn't super extensive yet. Dune, Spice Wars. And naturally, we have to talk about Dune, Spice Wars. This is a real-time strategy with 4X elements, developed by Shiro Games, the same folks behind Northgard. Based on the iconic Dune universe, it combines base building, army management, and diplomacy, offering deep strategic gameplay focused heavily on economics and political intrigue, both in the campaign and multiplayer. The key difference here is it's a hybrid, real-time strategy meets 4X. You manage your base and armies in real time while also handling research, trade, and diplomacy on a global map. Spice is the central resource. You harvest it and use it for everything: currency, bribery, meeting imperial demands. This creates a really complex economic layer. The factions are wildly distinct. House Atreides leans into diplomacy and trade, House Harkonnen relies on brute military force and oppression, and the Freemen use desert mobility and knowledge. What's really cool? The dynamic map. Sandstorms and giant worms constantly disrupt spice harvesting and troop movement. Controlling oases and villages gives crucial strategic bonuses. Honestly, it's strategy with a capital S.